OM means Order of Merit. OBE means Order of British Empire. So as the goldfinch bird comes to the tree is alive. As the goldfinch bird flies away, then the tree is again in eerie silence. The repetition of same sound in the beginning of the word in a sentence. So that is called as alliteration. Hello everyone. A very warm welcome to all the young minds of class 11 CBSE. I am Dr. Shalini, your English teacher at PrepSchool. Today we are here to understand one of the beautiful poems written by Ted Hughes, that is the Laburnum Top. Let us see what is there in today's session. Today we are going to understand about the poet, then I will tell you little about the background of the poem, then we'll understand the summary along with the literary devices that are used by the poet. So let us start with the introduction of the poet. So he is Ted Hughes. His actual name was Edward James Hughes, and here you can see something else written. OM, OBE, FRSL, this way. So he was actually considered as a royal poet. So OM means Order of Merit. OBE means Order of British Empire. FRSL means he is a member of this Royal Society of Literature. Okay, so this is what is the short form over here. So he was considered to be a royal poet, and he was an English poet, a translator, and he wrote lot of poems and stories for children. He is famous as children's writer only. So critics actually rank him as one of the best poets of his generation. That is because he used to write wonderful poems. So this poem is one such example. This is such a wonderful poem. You will understand what kind of relationship is there between the bird and the tree. One of the 20th century's greatest writers is this Ted Hughes, and he was also appointed as the Poet Laureate in 1984, and he held his office until his death. So he was there until his death there, and Hughes was married to one of the famous poetess, Sylvia Plath. So she has written very famous poems, and one of her famous poems is The Mirror. So this is little about Ted Hughes. There is a lot to study about him. So if at all you get any opportunity to read about him, please do so. And I would suggest you to read a lot of poems that are written by Ted Hughes. So let us start with the background of the poem. So this poem is actually about the repaying relationship between the bird and the tree. So that relationship, how you can repay, that is written here. This is about the laburnum tree and the goldfinch bird. So I'll tell you what is goldfinch bird as we progress into the slides. So the tree is actually yellow, silent and death-like, and here you can see yellow is used by this poet to show that it is beautiful. Yellow actually signifies death, beauty, silence, everything. So here he has used yellow, and that is the reason he has used this goldfinch bird also, which is also yellow in color. Fine. So he uses this yellow to show that silence, the death-like and all. So that laburnum tree is like that. It doesn't have life at all. And this is made alive by the bird and her young ones. So this goldfinch bird has a nest over there, and she makes this tree very lively. So that is what is the poem all about. This yellow bird has her shelter on her tree where she feeds her young ones here. Then as soon as the bird leaves the tree, that is flies off from the tree, again this laburnum tree becomes death-like. It becomes very quiet. So as the goldfinch bird comes to the tree is alive. As the goldfinch bird flies away, then the tree is again in eerie silence. So this is the total gist of the poem. So now let us understand stanza by stanza. So this is the first stanza of the poem. The laburnum top is silent, quiet, still. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. This is the first stanza. So here we can see that this is the laburnum tree the poet is talking about. Then it is silent. That means laburnum tree has no life in it. It is very quiet and quite still. It is not moving at all. This quiet is different from Q-U-I-E-T. Q-U-I-E-T is silent, being silent. Q-U-I-T-E is an adverb, that is, it is used to tell still enough. Okay, it was still means it did not have life, it did not move much. And in the afternoon, yellow September. So he is talking about the autumn season, September, and this he uses the word yellow over here. Fine, that is because he wants to show something, he wants to specify something. So in the afternoon, yellow September, afternoon sunlight also will be too much, isn't it? Summer and autumn actually occupy a very important position in foreign countries. That is because they hardly get any sunlight and they wait for sun to come. So here actually it is September, it is autumn season, and that sunlight is too sharp, you can say. Few leaves yellowing means few leaves are turning their color to yellow and all its seeds fallen. So it did not have life at all the seeds had already fallen down. So this is how the laburnum tree is. Okay, so here you can just see how what is laburnum tree. Fine, this will actually be hanging down. Okay, such is the tree and lifeless, everything is fallen down and it has no life in it. So that is how the tree is. Here you can notice one more thing here. There is no rhyming word at all. Okay, so there is no rhyming word at all. So you can consider it as free verse. You can also observe that there are no difficult words at all. That is because Ted Hughes wanted his poems to reach even the common man. So that's the reason he has not used very complex words. And here there is a comparison, that is yellow color is used to show that it is something which is related to silence, something that is death-like or something like that. Okay, so this is the summary of the first stanza. Okay, coming to the literary devices that is used in this stanza, you can see September sunlight. So here sir sound is repeated. Okay, so that is alliteration. So that literary device is called as alliteration, the repetition of same sound in the beginning of the word in a sentence. So that is called as alliteration. So this is the literary device that is used over here. We'll move on to the next part. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement, and at a branch end, then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness and a machine starts up of chitterlings and tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. So this is the next part of the first stanza only. I have broken that first stanza into two parts. So here you can see the arrival of goldfinch. Okay, the arrival of Goldfinch Bird. So here goldfinch comes there, that is also yellow in color. It comes with a twitching chirrup, means as she enters, she's chirping and she's entering the tree there. The goldfinch bird actually has sudden movements, okay, very swift movements it has. So here as soon as the bird comes there, a suddenness, all of a sudden there starts a movement. Then a startlement, all of a sudden there is a movement in the tree. That time the tree also gets startled. So there is a startlement, means some kind of spark, like you get a current shock and you move all of a sudden. So that kind of a movement is there in the tree there. At a branch end. So as soon as the bird enters the branch end, all this movement starts. So what else happens? Then sleek as a lizard. So sleek means she's watchful as a lizard. She is very careful like a lizard. So then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt. So she is very alert and she is abrupt, means all of a sudden she makes movements. All the movements are sudden only, nothing she is completing. She is just moving here and there with lot of energy. So goldfinch enters with lot of energy there. She enters the thickness. Thickness is where there are lot of leaves there. Fine. So she enters the middle of the tree, kind of is what the poet is talking about, and the machine starts up. So here the poet is comparing her movement to the machine. Okay, so then of chitterlings. So this machine startup of chitterlings. So the poet is talking about the small birds that are there, the young ones that are there. Okay, so the chitterlings. Chittering is the elder bird. Chitterlings is he refers to the smaller birds. So the machine is of the chitterlings. So as soon as the bird comes, the small ones start chirruping, and a tremor of wings. So the movement of wings is very quick, very swift. So this tremor of wings is there, and trillings. So even the tree starts moving. So the trillings also start moving. The whole tree trembles and thrills. The whole tree now is moving. There is a movement in the branches. So that's why the whole tree trembles and thrills. Now the whole tree is thrilled because there is life in that tree. So as soon as the bird comes, the tree gets startled, it starts moving here and there. Okay, so there is a movement of the branches. So this is the summary of this stanza. Let us see the literary devices that are used here. Sleek as a lizard. So you can see the word as. So this usage, okay, it is called as simile. Okay, so this is simile, and when there is a comparison made using as and like, that is called as simile. When there is a comparison made without the usage of this as and like the machine starts up. So here the movement he is comparing to the machine. So this is a metaphor. Okay, so this comparison without the use of as and like, it is called as metaphor. Okay, so the poet has used simile as well as metaphor in this. Then which else literary device is used? Here you can see the repetition of t sound. Tree trembles. Okay, so what do you call this repetition of sounds in the beginning of the word? It is called as alliteration. Okay, so this is called as alliteration. There are three literary devices that are used over here. Okay, so this was the summary of it, and you can also observe that there is no rhyming word at all even in this stanza. Chirrup, and so all, it doesn't end in the end of the line, it ends somewhere else. So since this is written in free verse, as I said, this usage is called as enjambment. Okay, the sentence doesn't end of the sentence here, it ends in the next line or maybe somewhere in the middle. So the sentence not completing in that same line and it is completing somewhere else in the middle, that is called as enjambment. Let us now move on to the next part. Okay, so this is the goldfinch bird I was talking about. So this is how the bird is, and when it enters the laburnum tree, it also looks yellow. Okay, the color actually blends with the color of the tree. Then it is the engine of her family. She stokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. The poet is talking about how she is the life of her family. Okay, it is the engine of her family. She gives life to her family. She gives life everywhere, wherever she goes. She stokes it full. She completely does that. She stokes it completely. Then flirts out to a branch end. Suddenly she jumps to the end of a branch. Fine. Showing her barred face identity mask. So there she shows her face. Her identity is masked there because of the same color, yellow color only. So she shows her face there in the end of the branch there. So here, as I said, she has the same color as that of the laburnum tree. So she hides behind the trees there and just shows the barred identity face. She can show only the face there, and people can see only that face over there. So this part only can be seen because everything else will be masked within the tree. So this is how she shows, and then what happens at last? This is the laburnum tree, how it is, and the bird gets inside this. Okay, so you cannot see the bird, which is of the same color, right? So it is the same one. Then with eerie, delicate whistle chirrup whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Now she has reached the end of the branch. She has come also with the through the end of the branch only. Again she goes back to her place. She comes, meets her young ones, and goes back to the end of the branch. Then what happens? She just goes out of the tree. Till she was there, there was a lot of movement in the tree. Now she is going out. Then with eerie, delicate whistle chirrup, she launches away. So again the silence is entering. With delicate whistle kind of chirrup, means very light whistling and all, she just goes off. So she whispers and she launches away, means she goes out of the tree there. Towards the infinite, means infinite is nothing but the sky. Okay, the poet is referring to the sky. So she flies towards the sky, and the laburnum subsides to empty again. This tree, the laburnum tree, comes back to empty means again that same silence it has come back to. Till the bird was there, it was full of life. Again, when the bird has left, it has lost its life. In the sense, it has lost that liveliness with which it was moving. It was having that movement. Okay, so the young ones are there, but since the mother is not there, even they are not making any noise. So the bird actually brings lot of life. It adds fuel to the engine there and makes it move. So all these comparisons are made by the poet there. So this is how the poet compares the relationship between the bird and the laburnum tree there. Next, coming back to the literary devices that are used over here, the poet is actually giving lot of life to the tree. Okay, it is not an inanimate thing, but it does not move and all, so you can consider this as personification. It considers the tree as a person there, so it is personification you can consider. And here also you can see there is no rhyming word at all in this stanza also, and the sentence doesn't end over here, it continues in the next line. Again, this also continues in the next line. Okay, so you can see enjambment is there, then you can see some the literary devices that are used over here, that is enjambment. So this was the summary of this poem, the Laburnum Top. So as I told you, this poem talks about the wonderful relationship between the Goldfinch bird and the laburnum tree, both of it in yellow color. So this was the summary. What I would want you to do is, before coming to class, please go through the poem, watch the video, go through the poem, then you will be able to understand it better. We shall discuss the question answers when you come for the live classes. So keep learning, children. Let us meet again in another more interesting session. So take care, keep learning. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for your time. Take care.